So let's compare several of these illustrations by trying to look at them from the other side. And I believe that's what it means to become culturally intelligent, by looking at the strengths and weaknesses of my side, of my room, and then also the strengths and weaknesses of the other side. And that helps us then come together and work together in harmony. So let's just walk through this issue of direct and indirect speech. So if I live in a hot climate culture, like I said, I will value indirect speech because I feel this builds respect and friendship. I would feel if a person speaks too directly, it can become crass and inconsiderate. But if I'm from a cold climate culture, I could easily feel that indirect speech is deceptive and even lying. That person's afraid to speak out. And I would say that it's good to be bold and explicit. That's what honesty is all about. I should just add that many people from hot climate cultures, from my experience, they tell me they're tired of so much indirect speech and they want to break free from that. Well, I'm going to spend a full lesson on direct and indirect speech. But what about time orientation? I've already mentioned that. If I'm from a hot climate culture, I will say that people and the event are more important. So we need to wait till the important people arrive. I can feel that those who just go by the clock, they are inflexible and uncaring and even arrogant. But if I'm from a cold climate culture, I will say we've got to be time conscious because that shows that we value the task at hand. If we wait just till people show up, it looks like we're lazy and irresponsible. And those who come late, they're the rude ones and uncaring because they don't care about the other people who have to wait. So we see how people coming from these different rooms value their behaviors and social relations very differently. And again, I'm going to remind us how we need to guard ourselves from generalizing and lumping all of humanity into these two different baskets, the hot climate room and the cold climate room. And of course, there are lots of personality differences within each of these rooms. But here's the problem, and I've seen this frequently. Someone, for example, from the West, looks at the many newcomers that come from Asian or African countries, and then they will say, they're all the same to me. That's the generalization that I want us to guard against. Or someone looking at the Western people and say, all those Westerners, they're all alike. We've got to overcome that generalization, even though we look at these two very broad categories. So rather, we need to think of the multiple layers of shades of blue and red blending into each other. Not that we all become just one big mishmash of something. We maintain our distinctions and our beauty, but we come together and enjoy each other like we enjoy that meal together, using a variety of utensils, and we shared food together. And I trust we can do that as we become culturally intelligent. So the key issue is, what can I learn from the other room? And how easy is it to flex from one room to the other without necessarily abandoning everything from my room? Why don't you try to do a values and assessment exercise for some of the other illustrations? And consider these questions. So when you look at the illustration, just tell yourself, what is the issue at hand? And then number 2, do a values exercise. What are the strengths of the cold climate culture of the blue side? And what are the strengths or the values of the hot climate or the red room? And then do an assessment. And the assessment is more looking at the weaknesses. So what would be the weaknesses of the cold climate side? That's looking at it from the hot climate side. And then what would be the weaknesses or the problems of the hot climate or the red room side? That's doing an assessment on that side.